Hi, I'm Lynn Rosen. I'm a playwright, and I wrote Bernhard.
Hi, I'm Annie Torsiglieri, and I'm so thrilled to be directing Lynn Rosen's play, Bernhard.
I think my first theater experience was going to the Goodman Theater in Chicago, where they had a famous children's theater. And I remember seeing Dracula, and Dracula signed my program.
In
And
blood?
that was in my own blood. And that frightened me.
Scarred you so much.
But then I was like, I need more of this. So ever since then, I love theater. I was smitten.
Not bitten?
Not and bitten.
I had the lead in my kindergarten play, and clearly I liked the attention because that was it.
And that is still how it is.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I've always liked to tell stories. I always like to listen to people talk. And when people tell me stories from their life, I'm always like, and what did they say? And how did they say it? And I've always liked to hear how people express themselves and the rhythm of language and the musicality of language. And it's just something I've always done since I was little. I used to also act, and then I jettisoned that because I realized that wasn't my passion. Writing was my passion. So I've done it forever since I was in elementary school and I had to write all the school plays. I've always loved it. Bernhard is a very timely play that takes place during wartime. It could be a war that was in the past or in the present, during a time of political upheaval and great change. And it's about a boy's journey. He's literally told by his grandmother, who is in peril, to go find his mother. So it's his journey to find his mother, but on the way, during this journey, he has many adventures that he wasn't expecting, and he learns many things he wasn't expecting. And it's very dark, and it's very funny, and it's very relevant to today. What would you say it's about? I mean, in the bigger picture, Bernhard is about faith and the choices we make and what kind of person we want to be, especially in really difficult, trying times.
Yes. What she said. I think Bernhard is about the resiliency of the human spirit to survive and the risk that it takes to survive and the risk that it takes to be human and to love, especially in the face of great adversity, great loss. Sadly, all too relevant for our current world. It's very much about, it's not, let me start again. It's not about our refugee situation exactly, but it echoes everything that's going on in the world today and the tremendous number of people who are struggling to find a place to live, a way to survive in the face of everything that's going on. Scary time we live in.
So it's very topical and it's very serious, but there's also a lot of humor, and you will be entertained, and there's music, and there's redemption.
And spit takes.
And spit takes. I know Annie from way back. Annie used to live in New York City, which is where I live, and Annie was in several of my plays that were produced in New York City, and she was my muse. And then she moved here.
Scary, right?
And became an amazing, marvelous professor to all these kids of acting and many things, and a director.
Bricklaying,
hairdressing,
puppetry.
She has no
plumbing.
sense of humor, which is the biggest problem.
Microbiology is my main focus.
So she was in many of my plays, and I miss her terribly because she can't be in them anymore in New York. But what a gift that I get to come here to UCSB and work with Annie and these amazing kids and the amazing crew and staff on the Launchpad show. I'm very lucky.
Well, we're lucky to have her. I want to say one other thing. When it looked as though Risa Brainin, who's the wonderful artistic director of Launchpad, was away on sabbatical this year, it seemed a great opportunity to try something a little bit different and commission a playwright to write a play for us here at UCSB, for our community, for our students, for our world, something that was relevant to what's going on in the world, especially in a political sense. especially given that we knew it would be a fall production. We have a huge event happening in our country, in our world, with the U.S. election coming up, in case you hadn't been paying attention or reading the news.
Who's
and
running?
So we said to Lynn, something with political relevance, but nothing too spot on. What do you want to write about?
And I wanted to write about a refugee.
Originally it was going to be puppies, but I said that didn't work for me.
Yeah, about someone who's displaced and trying to, as we've said, find a place where they belong and find a way to be human again in a very inhumane circumstance. Bernhard the play is inspired by the news of the day, topical issues, but it was also inspired by an author named Thomas Bernhard, who's an Austrian writer, and he's written plays, he's written books, and I am a fan. And then I read his autobiography at the same time that I was watching the news and feeling very down and hopeless about everything that was going on. I was reading his autobiography, which is about how he survived Austria in World War II as a child. And it's harrowing. It's one hurdle after another that he must jump over. And people die, and there's constant loss. And ultimately, the book is very uplifting, though, and very redemptive, and I was very moved by it. So though the book is not about Thomas Bernhard, I was inspired by how he survived, by how resilient he was. And that gave me hope as I watched the news of today. And so those things kind of merged and inspired me to write Bernhard.
Risa Brainin, our wonderful professor here at UCSB's Theater and Dance and our current chair, created a program called Launchpad several years ago where she would bring a cutting-edge playwright to campus to create a brand new piece on our students as well as sometimes our faculty and local professional actors and give it a full production. So in the usual world of play development, new plays get readings, and then another reading, and then another reading, maybe a workshop that has 3 days instead of 1 day. But then there's nothing really in between a reading and a workshop and a full production. This is kind of building a place for that in-between place where playwrights can explore within the context of a fully realized production their play. What works, what doesn't work, what needs to be changed. How do I now envision the world? How would I flesh it out with sets, lights, costumes, sound, music, all that stuff? So it's a wonderful model, and we're so lucky to have it here at UCSB. And we love Risa for bringing it here, and I'm thrilled to be carrying the mantle this year while she's away.
It's a rare opportunity to be able to work on a new play with this level of support. And to get to see it up with the cast and costumes and lights and sound and a set and not too much, not so much that it feels like a full production, but enough to help me realize the play and realize what I want the play to be. It's rare, and I'm so grateful for it.
Or knowing about the play.
I need a bath.
Well, certainly I hope the audience leaves Bernhard feeling entertained, feeling like they had a moment of escape from their lives. I always like to provide that if I can. But I hope that with all of my writing, even though they tend to be comedies, and this is a dark comedy, I hope that they leave understanding that we're all kind of in the same boat together, and we're going to sink or swim together, leaving with empathy for other people, even people they may not understand or be like.
Just the bath, that's all I care about. Or a shower.